Alright, once again, awesome lesson for you guys. No surprise, talking about step up, step down, and step it up, but we don't really use step it down, but if you hear that, it's super slang and kind of weird. But anyway, got three awesome ones here, so we're going to get into it. I drew a pretty little picture, again, just to give you the idea, the framework, the background of kind of steps and stepping up, even though this is never really what we're talking about. It just helps to remember stuff. So stairs, like when you're walking upstairs, usually, not always, but usually, there's more than 3 stairs. But stairs are also called steps. And if you step from one stair to the next, that is stepping up. If you step from one stair to the next or one step to the next, that is stepping down if you're going down. So stepping up, stepping down. Doesn't mean anything yet, just gives you an idea of just sort of just the phrase in general, what it literally means. But now we're going to talk about how we use this, stepping up, stepping down, and then you can kind of make some sense of it in your mind. So the first one, step up. If somebody steps up, that is a good thing, always. And stepping up, there's a lot of examples we can choose. I'm going to choose one to really, pound it home and give you a clear idea of what the feeling of this means. So imagine that there's a sports team, your favorite football or soccer team, whatever you call it, and unfortunately the best player on the team gets hurt. And really hurt, and they can't play anymore for the rest of the season, or they can't play for that game, or they're sick and they can't play. Someone else needs to play in that person's position, right? You gotta have the next player who's like the backup player. They have to go in for that person. And if they have a really good game in place of the star player, they stepped up. So that's a very good thing, obviously. So it's kind of filling in for someone's role and doing a good job in that role. So or you could do it in business too. I mean, for example, let's say the marketing director is sick, or his wife's having a baby and he's not paying attention in work or whatever. You might help out and step up. You might step up and help the marketing director in your company, so you do what that person usually does and you do a good job doing it. So anytime you step up, you're kind of filling in for someone else what they usually do, and you do a good job at it. That's stepping up. Now this is a little bit different when there's the it in there. Step it up. Someone could say it as a command. Your boss, your coach, your teacher, your parents, your friends could say step it up. That means improve. Start trying harder. Start doing better. Right? You gotta step it up in school. If you want to make it into a good university. Or the boss might say, hey man, you better step it up at work. Or, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get fired, or you're not going to get the promotion you were hoping to get. Or you better step it up with your English studying, or what's going to happen? I don't know. You're not going to learn well, and you're not going to get all the benefits that go with that. Or, I don't know, if you're dating a beautiful girl, she might tell you, hey man, you better step it up in your relationship. Maybe she means buy her more flowers. I don't know, treat her better. Or what's the alternative if you don't step it up? I don't know, she goes and gets another guy. So the point is, to step it up means to improve at something, and usually if you don't step it up, there's a consequence, like not getting into a good school, getting fired, losing the girl, whatever. That's if you don't step it up. If you do step it up, you get a benefit. So it's improving in those kind of ways. The last one is interesting, step down, and it's not at all the opposite of step up. Not at all. This is what makes it interesting, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it's not the opposite. Now imagine this situation, and I'm sure it happens in every country. You already know what getting fired is. It's when the boss or the upper management says, you know what? Like basically, you're a terrible worker. We don't want you in the company anymore for whatever reason. You suck. You're fired. You're done. So they force you out. If you quit, that kind of takes the feeling that you're being a bit of a baby. But if you step down, this is an interesting one. It actually means that you quit, but you didn't get fired, and you didn't say, I don't want to work anymore, I hate this, I quit. You sort of open up, it sort of saves face for you. It makes the boss not have to fire you, because that's an emotional situation. And it makes you not embarrassed, because it's embarrassing to get fired. You don't want to say to your next boss in your new job, oh yeah, I got fired at my last job. It sounds pretty bad. So let's say that there's something bad or weird going on, like right now in the US government, there's stuff going on, and Obama might be saying to these people like, hey, this is behind closed doors, which means you know that there's something going on, but you don't know exactly what. The public doesn't know what. They just know that something's bad. It's going to embarrass the government. So the leader of like the top bank or the top tax collecting agency or something might just say, you know what? I'm going to step down because something embarrassing happened for the country or the company or whatever it is. And the person just kind of says, I quit, but they didn't get fired, so there's no shame in that. There's a lot less shame, even though really it's the same thing. They just sort of secretly agree that you're not going to work anymore, but you didn't quit and you didn't get fired, even though you did stop working. And it's certainly not a retirement, because you're going to do something else. So that's what stepping down is. If you ever hear that, oh, he stepped down from his position, you can think, oh, I know what happened. Something embarrassing, and they didn't want to embarrass the person, so they just said, okay, let's agree, you're not going to work here anymore. But instead of saying you got fired or you quit, it's more of a noble, or it's just like a good cause, basically. It sounds a lot better to step down. It's more professional. It's like everybody agrees, you officially relinquish or give up your positions. That's what stepping down means. So anyway, awesome terms here, phrasal verbs. Check it out on the site, www.learnenglish232.com.